back on the market stall. To be fair, the food does smell good, but I just would not risk it. Not a chance. It's all like street food stuff, you know. It's like a throwback to the 60s or 70s, this. Welcome to Oldham, everyone. It is a place, a town in Greater Manchester, UK, and it is home to a huge Muslim community. 18 mosques, I believe, within Oldham. And yeah, some beautiful buildings, don't get me wrong, but I'll be honest, I've got the shock of my life coming here. I thought Liverpool was changed, shall we say, but this is a different ball game, this. So I think I am in the Oldham Town Centre. There's the Town Hall Tavern, which is a boozer by the looks of things, but there's not much going on, to be honest. Not much of a, you know, it is quite a small town, isn't it? But as for shops, it's the same as any UK town or city. The vape shops, the Romanian Ranier shop here, Turkish barbers, cash generators. What else? Oldham bargains here, pizza places. Welcome to Tommyfield Market, and it looks like one of the most depressing markets I have ever seen. Half the tables are empty. It's just shite. Just absolute shite everywhere, honestly. Get your army gear, all here. All your materials on Mayer Fabrics. God, that is one depressing market, that. Oh my God. Jesus, tonight. And something I'll never get used to. Look at this. Oh, fruit and veg. I'll go down there. That is absolutely depressing, isn't it? Oh my God. Half them are empty. And the tables that are full are just full of absolute rubbish. Public toilets, I could do with one of them right now. Obviously I don't know where I'm going, but everywhere you turn is quite interesting, I suppose. Absolutely shocked. Shocked to the core I am. Oldham has gone, hasn't it? But you know, infrastructure has been stretched to breaking point. Housing here, especially in Oldham, is under immense pressure, with demand far outstripping supply. You can Google that. Before I come, I googled it, and housing was a real huge problem here. And our public services, from schools to NHS, are clearly struggling to cope under the weight of this policy failure, aren't they? But here we are, all accepting it. You know, we all live with it. Our tolerance clearly been mistaken as a weakness. You know, just to remind people, I am actually still in the UK. This is unbelievable. It's absolutely insane. For too long now, you know, successive governments have failed in one of their most basic responsibilities, you know, to safeguard the fabric of our country, our nation, and they've just opened the doors to absolute mass immigration without, you know, proper planning, without our consent, and without, you know, regard for long-term consequences on our communities, our economy, and just our way of life. You know, this is not a matter of blaming anyone that's come here to build new lives. You know, it's about holding accountable leaders, you know, who chose short-term political gain over the long-term stability of our country. You know, for decades, both Labour and Conservative governments have promised control of our borders, yet year after year immigration figures have remained at historically high levels. Promises were made, promises have been broken, and the result, you know, is undeniable. Towns and cities across the UK have been transformed at a pace never seen before in our history. Now, let me be clear, you know, culture does matter, of course it does. You know, the UK has always been a nation shaped by its traditions and values and shared identity. Yeah, successive governments again have allowed immigration at such a scale that change has been too fast, too unmanaged, too divisive in my opinion as well. You know, instead of integration, too often we see fragmentation, and instead of unity we see division. Now, this is just my opinion, but it's just what I see. I'm sure there's a lot of people that share the same values. Look, let's go down here. The same opinions, sorry, not values. In fact, it doesn't look like there's much going on, but we'll have a look down the Civic Centre. The absolute brutal tower block there. I get a lot of comments, you know, saying we didn't vote for this, the British people didn't vote for this, nor is it what they were ever honestly consulted on, because we never were we? And the referendum of what was it, 2016, was it, 15? Maybe, I'll put it up on the screen. You know, was a cry for control, a demand that we, you know, us, the people, should decide the direction of our country. Yeah, even since then, you know, the floodgates have just remained open, and this has opened my eyes here in Oldham. As I say, I thought Liverpool was, you know, had changed and the floodgates open there. And this is, you know, the thing is, right, you know, it doesn't have to be this way. We can have a fair, controlled immigration system. One that, you know, welcomes those with the skills we need. A little bit like the, you know, the Australian system. One that welcomes those, you know, that want to integrate too, and, you know, want to fit in with our values, our culture. We can prioritise our own citizens, you know, our workers, our families, our communities, when other people are willing to accept that that's our way of life. You know, we can protect our borders, and we must. We really must. You know, because this is scary, I'll be honest. I still can't get my head around, you know, the bakers. I'm just walking around aimlessly, obviously, and now, Britain is, you know, a proud, resilient nation. But if we are to, you know, preserve what makes this country home, you know, our culture, our values, you know, our very way of life, then, you know, we must face the truth. And successive governments have failed us when it comes to immigration, especially. In my opinion, it is time for a new direction. I've never felt so strongly in all my life for this new direction either. Of course, still suffers a huge homeless problem yet. See the 3 owls? Anyone tell me what the owls mean in Oldham? There's a lot of owls, and even on the, you know, the Oldham crest, I'm pretty sure there's an owl, isn't there? Once again, don't know where I'm going here. Oldham Music Centre. Let's cross over. The Ashton Arms. Kind of heading away from the centre. Sometimes that's good, sometimes you get the nitty gritty areas, don't you? In fact, I think I'll take a right. That looks like, I don't know, actually, it just looks like a little bit like Manchester with the trams, isn't it? Let's go anyway. Let's cross over before the tram does come. Say it's a bit like Manchester, I suppose it is. It's great to Manchester. But, yeah. Sirens in the background, like. Typical Manchester coming on the tracks. Not allowed, as Charlie Beach would say. Well, that's seen better days, that building, hasn't it? huge building that, gone to waste. It was Dino's bar and restaurant, but obviously, of course, like most places in the UK, there isn't many pubs or bars left anymore, is there? We always talk about, you know, integration, segregation. I'll tell you something right now, there's none of that here in Oldham. Second-hand clubs, anyone? Second-hand Hoover? I bet a lot of this has been robbed out of workies' vans. I'll put money on it. It's a shame, man, but it's absolutely depressing. There's just tacky ornaments, tacky items, clothes. Tell you something, you don't really hear much English being spoken either. Tommyfield Market. Let's have a little look down Tommyfield Market. Bleak. It's bleak. Even the weather is bleak. The shops are bleak. I do like the old fruit and veg shop though, I must admit. It's very nostalgic. Bit of a 80s throwback, that one. A little bit how the UK used to be, I suppose. Happy Oldham. What do you think of that?
This is a good couple of minutes to walk out of school as well.
I'll never get over this, you know. I will never get used to this. You know, the burger. I think it's just... Lever's fish and chips. Let's have a little look up this way. Haven't been up here yet.
And then once lunch dies down.
Fucking hell. Big queue for a dodgy chip shop. Oh, ginger beard. Sorry, Oldham. Your town is an absolute shithole. Yeah. It is one dull place here on Cheapside. Well, this is the Cheapside. You have Bright House, which is closed, as you can see. Shoe Zone, which is closed, as you can see. And a Betfred. A Home Bargains. All here on Cheapside. We're gonna head out of the city, or the town centre should I say, for a little bit. Let's go and look around the outskirts. Tell you what, it was depressing, that place. Sorry to anyone from Oldham, but that was depressing. It's an absolute shithole. Hasn't sorry, Islamic bookshop over there with all your garments, all your attire. I'll take a little right here onto Ruskin Street, maybe. Look like new builds, don't they? That looks like a new road being built there. We'll go and have a look at that. Check this bit out. There's couches. A lady there looking at me as if all the washing in the back there. Couches, furniture. Look at this. Yeah, they must sit out here, look. Let's look down the other end here. God, it looks just as bad. The back of these houses. Some are being built actually. Some are definitely lived in, you can see. I spoke too soon. I said I hadn't seen any fridges. And see two here straight away. Jesus. Flippin' heck. Throw all your shite there, eh? Goes on down here too. Flippin' heck. Welcome to Oldham, everyone. Mattress on the roof there as well. The state of that. Holy. Try not to swear. Mattresses. Bloody. Everything you could wish for in a house. Mate, okay. The Al-Khazra Masjid, I don't know whether that's a mosque. Not 100% sure. Let's have a look at the other shops here. We have a King Box. A King Box, a fast food joint. Blitzfade barber shop. Looks like some kind of old fridge centre. I haven't seen any dumb fridges, so they probably must get put in there. Let's have a little look around here, eh? This fella looks white as fuck. Look at this fella. He paints his face white. Well, that was strange. That if you hadn't met that woman, I'd have been very, very concerned about that baby and whose it was. It's like he painted his face white. It's weird. Anyway. Oldham, it is quite a strange place, I'll be honest. But we march on. We march on. To the unknown. To places I don't know where I'm going to. Well, let's head up toward. Back up these ways. I thought this was an interesting building. NHS Oldham integrated, unlike the town itself. And that, everyone, is Oldham. And I done that, so you don't have to. Let me tell you, I won't be coming back in a rush. Definitely not.